Hello, everyone. You're welcome to today's session on Python programming fundamentals. In today's class, we'll be talking about while statement. While statement is another form of statement we use in Python to repeat certain tasks based on whatever the result of an evaluated condition is or conditions are. Let me take you straight into the code environment to illustrate what this construct looks like, and then we'll see in which situation would we be required to use it. So this is an empty Python notebook or Jupyter notebook, for instance. So if you come in here and say, we've used age as a variable repeatedly in many of our exercises. So let's just do something very random. Let's say x is equal to 1. X is a variable, it's equal to 1, and we run that. That's no problem. It stores figure 1 in that memory location called x. Now, if you want to read, let's say you come in here and say while x is less than, or in fact, I'll make it less than 5. That is the condition. You want to print hello there. When you write this, this is the condition that is being evaluated. Is x less than 5? If yes, it will execute this statement. And because x is 1, x is less than 5, because 1 is less than 5, it will print hello there. But something strange is going to happen. We need to check this. When I execute this, it starts printing hello there, hello there, hello there, and it continues and it keeps printing hello there till my computer gets bogged down completely. Why is this happening? This is what we call an infinite loop statement. It keeps running because we did not put any condition to terminate this execution. When should it stop writing hello there? It has not been indicated because x is 1. X is always 1. There is nothing changing the value of x from 1 to something else. So as long as x remains 1, 1 will always be less than 5. And as long as 1 is less than 5, it will keep printing hello there for us till the computer gets tired and then you run into issues. So I'll terminate that by clicking on that symbol. Alternatively, if it's wasting my time, I'll delete that cell and then create another cell. And then it will look like this. So what can I do to manage that situation of endless loop that we had prior to now? I don't want that to happen to my code. So what I will be forced to do is to increase the value of x at certain point in my code lifetime such that it will not consistently remain as 1. So the standard way for us to do this is to increment x by 1. So what this expression stands for is the original value of x, add 1 to it. Whatever you get, store it as the new value of x. Don't read this to mean x is equal to x plus 1. That is not the interpretation. What it means is whatever x was, in this case it was 1, we're adding another 1 to it. So this side will become 2, and that figure 2 is stored in the memory location x. So it is not equality sign, rather it is what is on the right is assigned to what is on the left. So the old value of x, which is 1, will no longer be valid. The new value will be 1 plus 1, which is going to be 2 the first time you execute this line. because we are looping, constantly checking. So when next this statement goes back to the while loop, x is no longer 1, it is now 2. So it will check, is 2 less than 5? Yes, that's true. It will print hello there again. Then it executes this with 2 plus 1 is going to be 3. And then it stores 3 in x. It goes back to the while statement. Is 3 less than 5? Yes. It prints hello there. Then it comes back here and adds 1 to 3. It becomes 4. So 4 is stored in x. Then it goes back into the while statement. It's a loop, so it goes back to that statement to check. Is 4 less than 5? Yes. It will still print hello there. Then when it gets to this line, after that run, 4 plus 1 now is going to be 5. 5 is stored in x. When x comes back here and it says, is 5 less than 5? The answer is no. Then it will exit, it will not print hello there anymore. And that's the easiest way to escape this kind of a situation that we had before. So this line looks simple, but it's saving us a lot of headache by being there. So if I execute this line now, you will see it executes 4 times because there will never be a 5th time. The 5th time will only come in if I change the condition to x is equal to, or x is less than or equal to 5. In that case, the statements within the while block will run 5 times. But this time around, it's different from what we had. It shouldn't be 1. Let me go back. Maybe I selected the state while x is less than or equal to 1. Okay, let me refresh. It goes back to 1. Then it goes back to 5. Yeah, so this is the correct execution that I had in my head. I was wondering why it just ran it the first time. So it kept the value of 4 in its head, and we have fixed that. So this is one way in which people can use the while condition. Please note that it's not in all situations that you just be printing hello there. Yeah. And it's not in all situations that you'll be checking x is less than or equal to 5. You may have multiple conditions here. You may have x is less than or equal to 5 and some other things may be in here. It depends on your reality. Now, just to demonstrate that, in the previous code, we wrote a snippet that was checking eligibility of candidate for job shortlisting based on some criteria. So we had criteria like age as a factor. So let's say a candidate is 27. Let's say a candidate is 27. His grade is first class, and he has completed NYSC. Okay. So we can come in here and say, while age is less than or equal to 25 and grade is equal to 1 or grade is equal to 2. This was what we had. Equal to. So this is first class or second class upper. That's what you have written here. Okay, that's not all. And NYC is equal to yes, whatever the situation is. If it is converted to lowercase, so you can have this and then say, for as long as all the records that are passed to you have this, you can start doing some things. Part of what you can do here could be, let's just say you want to send email to all shortlisted candidates. Yeah, you can write a code here to send email to them, and it will keep sending mail to all of them as long as they meet the conditions that you have stated up there. The moment they go off that track, nothing happens again. So I can just say print for demo sake, just to put a construct there. So you can put a section of your code to say, okay, you would like to write email and send it to all of the candidates who made this condition. So it's looping through the records one by one. As much as every record matches these conditions, it will execute what you have in here. If the records don't match the conditions, it's possible that you will come across records that don't match. Then you will have this else statement. This part is executed if the conditions don't evaluate to be true. Don't evaluate to be true. So it's not in all situations that you run through all the records and everybody is matching this perfectly. If they don't, then you need to indicate what needs to be done. Okay, maybe you also inform them that, oh, we're sorry you were not shortlisted, and the message will be clear. And it will be nice you tell them why they weren't shortlisted. So you don't just say, oh, you are unsuccessful this time. Tell them why they aren't successful, so that next time, if they can work on the element, they work on it. If it's something they can't change, then they know it's a permanent disability and they don't bother you again the next time. So you can write a construct like this. It will look through all of the records, and then it will only evaluate those who have given you the right conditions to be true. It sends them email, and then this other part will also send email to users that are not successful. So you can write if statements like this. It depends on what you want to use it for. Another way I use while statement is when we get to input validation. I can as well just give you a demo of that. You realize that all the while we've been doing this is not something you, okay, let's say accept. Okay, now we've been writing messages to users asking them for input. So let's say age is an input and it's an integer. We want users to supply their age to us, and then we can come in here and say, excuse me, print, if there is an error, print an error and let the user see that there is an error. Now, when you write a simple statement like this and you run it, if I put my age as figure 1, letter O, and I press enter, it tells me there is an error. It tells me there is an error, but it doesn't do anything beyond that. So if I want it to do much more than that, by prompting me to go back and put in the correct age, then there's a way I can combine this try except construct with my while statement. And what I would do there is to go up here and say, while this statement is true, try this. Okay, and if I run this again and I put the same figure 1, letter O in here, it tells me there is an error and it's prompting me instantly to put in the correct message. And I can go and say 10 the proper way, and you can see it still ties me down here. Normally what it should do is to allow me leave this place, and then once I put in the correct message, I shouldn't be tied in here. So let me escape this and say, if I put the correct message, what should happen? It should break and I should be able to move away from that line. And that's what I have written here. So let me copy this away. I'll put it in a new construct, restart. Yeah, fine. So I have this in here. I put a break statement here, meaning that if age is valid, it shouldn't tie me within this box. So if I run this, it's asking for my age. I put 12. Something is wrong. It's still tying me down here. Let me escape from here. Take this code into a separate cell. Delete this one. So I have this. If my age is correct, I should just move on. Age is a number. 12, it accepts it straight away, and then it doesn't prompt me with any error message or anything to say, okay, put your age again. But if you want users to validate beyond just accepting numbers, because what it has done here is to say I must put a numeric input before it accepts it as a valid integer or as a valid value for age. But what if it runs and I put 134? It will accept it, because if you print age somewhere out of the while statement here and you say age, you will find 134 there. And that's not a reasonable age for a human being. So what you will be tempted to do here is to say, try to get the age from user. If age is below 0, then print a message to the user and say there's an error. Okay, negative age is not allowed. That's possible. However, if age is greater than, let's say, 100, then print a message and let them know that here it should be age. This one should be 100 is the maximum age set for this test or demo. It depends on what works in your own reality. So I can do this, and if these conditions are met, you get the appropriate messages. Otherwise, it will break. So the otherwise is what I need to put here and say else. It means the result is acceptable. Then you should break and move away. Here it's the invalid input. So this is a message you can display to your user. So we now have a cleaner code. While everything is okay, while everything is true, try calculating or getting the value of age from the user. If the user supplies anything that is non-numeric, it will display this message. If they supply a number that is less than 0, the code will display this message. If they supply a number that is greater than 100, it will display this message. Otherwise, it will accept it. And if you wanted to tell them that, oh, a valid age has been entered, it moves on, you can do that, but there is no need for that. So let's execute this and see what it tells us. Age, I start with -4. It tells me error, negative age isn't allowed, and it's prompting me instantly up here to re-enter age. So if I put, it means 0 is even allowed, which it shouldn't be. So it should be less than or equal to 0. So that's my bad. So let's say you put 123, enter. It tells you 100 is the maximum age set for this demo, so you can't go anywhere. So, but if I set 45, I should not be prompted anymore because it has accepted that figure, and that's why you have 45 in here. So this is another way in which you can use while statement wrapped with if, and then you can see I've also wrapped it with the try catch statement or try except statement, which we're going to talk about much later in the intermediate programming. But I needed it to solve this problem, and that was why I, fast tracked its mention here. So in this demo, I have shown you how you can write simple while statement that counts from 0 to 5, and it displays certain statements as many times as you have indicated. You can equally just say print 1 to 5 or print 5 down to 1, depending on what you want. And then we show the scenario where you are evaluating eligibility of candidates and then deciding on which kind of email to send to them based on whether they are qualified or not. And in the last example, I showed us how you can validate input, in this case, age, based on certain conditions. The conditions we tested for are basically three. One, we tested for the data type of what you put in. We are expecting integer value, and if you put anything outside that, you will get this error message. And even when you put in integer value, we would say that anything 0 and negative, you will get this message, and anything beyond 100, you will get this message. Otherwise, your input is deemed to be valid. If you don't have this while statement here, this construct is not going to work as well as you planned it to. So this is my wrap-up message on while constructs. We will make use of it, and you'll see more scenarios as time goes by. Thanks a lot for standing by. I look forward to seeing you in the next video recording. Bye for now.